What's up, family? Supreme peace, blessings, and harmony. Welcome to the first episode on my YouTube channel of a new series we have called The Foundation. So this is The Foundation, episode 1. I thank you all for joining me on this episode. Today, what I'm going to be showing y'all is $1 million map. So we have $1 million map showing the Americas. This map is interesting because it depicts black people as the indigenous Americans, point blank, period. And this map is not singular, so it's many maps like that. So I'm gonna be showing you a few other maps that we do have that before we get to the $1 million map. So stick around to see the $1 million map of the Americas that depict what we've been telling you, that the so-called black people are the indigenous people of the Americans. The people you are calling black are actually American Indians, and a lot of us so-called black Americans, we have been denationalized and reclassified. So our tribes collapsed due to warfare over the last 500 years, and we were reclassified once we integrated inside the United States, or had to assimilate rather, or forced assimilation into the United States, this new colonial government, the United States of America. We were reclassified to blacks, Negroes, and coloreds. So that's the simple way to really say it. But we want to stand 10 toes down and people really understanding this, if you're new to this, that we are the indigenous people of the Americas, and not just here in the United States, because of course the United States is a country in America. The United States is a country in the continent of America, but also we have other countries in the continent of America, such as Jamaica, Haiti, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Cuba, Puerto Rico. All these people have people who look just like me, and a lot of these people are the indigenous American people. And then you also have the mixed people who are mixed, what they call mestizos, and these people are mixed between a lot of times the Spanish colonizers in that part of the world, the Spanish colonizers, and the indigenous people. And then you just have some people who are on the islands who are white tea, and you have other ethnic groups. But just like in the Caribbean islands and other parts of America, again, you have Central America like Mexico, Belize, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, where you have people who look just like me. And these people are really the true indigenous people of the American continent. Going down to South America, we talking about Colombia, Brazil, and different places like that. Uh, that's our indigenous people of America, and they're telling the whole continent of people that we're from Africa. So when we see these maps, this is very important to what's actually going on, because the thing about it, no matter what country you go to in the American continent, you're finding poverty, you're finding a lot of chaos, you finding people who have been oppressed, and that's just what it is. It's oppression no matter what you go, because of what's actually going on. And a lot of people want to label it as racism, but it's actually colonialism. And racism is an outgrowth of colonialism. Let's understand that. So before we even get to racism, you have colonialism. But since they have lied and told everybody that they're from Africa, that we all came from Africa on the whole continent, not just the country of the United States of America, the whole continent, they have said we came from Africa. But when you go look deeper into it, and you don't just take their word for it, you go do your own independent study with a lot of brothers and sisters throughout the continent. Here in the United States, a lot of people from the Caribbean are understanding this, and South America now. You start understanding the lies that have been told, the lies that have been told, and it's a colonial tactic. It's a war tactic, a colonial tactic, and it's just, unfortunately, these people are liars, and they have lied to our people. So here in the United States, us people we call so-called Black America, we got to understand, when your grandma was talking about, oh, we got Indian in us, so it's not that you have Indian in you, are the Indians. We are the indigenous people here, and we had kingdoms right here in the United States. And that's why this is important to talk about what's going on in the United States right now among our people. Because no matter what city you go through, no matter what city you go to in the United States, you're going to see the same things and the effects of colonialism. And colonialism is going on right now in 2026. But when they tell you that you come from Africa, you can't fix your problems, because you stuck in limbo, not knowing who I am or where we're from. And what we're saying is, it was a whole civilization here. Our people in the United States, we descend from something called the Mississippian Empire, or the Mississippian Republic, a republic of different nations and tribes that descend from the Mississippi River and its tributaries. And its tributaries being the Ohio River. How many of y'all live by the Ohio River? Its tributaries being the Tennessee River. How many of y'all live by the Tennessee River? Its tributaries being the Red River. How many of y'all live by the Red River? Going through like Arkansas and Texas. And it also tributaries being the Missouri River. And it has more tributaries than that, but the main tributaries. So understanding that if civilization always springs up around water, and our people in the United States, we had a high culture civilization that was here in the United States already called the Mississippian Republic. You can go read about this, the Mississippian mound builders. You can go read about this. They don't teach us this in school. It's not taught. First red flag. Why isn't this taught in school? Why should every American, regardless of ethnicity, not know about the mound building cultures that are over America? 9 times out of 10, you are not too far, no matter where you are at in the United States, from a pyramid. Because from every one pyramid that's in Africa, you have 1,000 in America. But that's just the introduction, y'all. We ain't even got down to it. I was saying that to say it's just this information is important for us to understand. This information is important because we have a civilization here. So we have to start the foundation and build the foundation of what's going on. How did we get here? First of all, who are we? Man, know thyself. That's an affirmation, an ancient affirmation. Coming from the Egyptians. Even we start getting down to different nations, Egyptian, Israelite, Mayans. Jog that down. The Mayans, the Egyptians, and the Israelites, and the American Indian tribes. Because all these things correlate, because you're talking about American nations, and you're talking about over the last 100 years, what they have been saying things as, well, we knew nothing about America. We just stumbled on America. When we know that is not true, when you go study history for real yourself, you know that couldn't have been true because in 1455 and again in 1492, you have popes who gave out the different doctrines, the doctrine of discovery for them to go invade any non-Christian lands. And at the same time, remember 1492 is significant because this is the same time that they're overthrowing the Moors. Dark-skinned melanated people who was ruling Eurasia. They try to get it to Europe, well, who was ruling Eurasia and Africa. They trying to just give it to just, Spain and Portugal, but it really was all of Europe and Asia and Africa. The Moors and the Jews. So this is why we talking about Mayans, Israelites, and American Indians. Once people who want to come out of the lies history has been told and go start doing your own independent study. Not just let me tell you, but you go look into these things for yourself. You'll understand how all these things correlate and what they have done. They have changed the history of the American continent and said America never existed and erasure, genocide on whole civilizations in the name of colonialism and imperialism and them being greedy and them wanting to control the American continent and American resources forever. That's what it's about. So America had no melanated indigenous people, but as we know, every continent has melanated indigenous people. Let me slow down. Every continent has a melanated indigenous people. So you want us to believe the creator of the universe, the creator of galaxies, the creator of all things said, Africa get melanated people. Asia get melanated people. The Pacific Islands get melanated people. Bad America. Go sit in the corner of America. You get no melanated people. But artists of the world prior always depicted the Americas as dark-skinned melanated people. And anybody, y'all know we already went through, we showed a lot of information. Anybody not following me on TikTok, we have a lot of information already on TikTok. But we show over here on this page a book, Allegory of the Continents. Shout out to Caremio. Went over churches all over Europe and depicted how the indigenous American looked, and they was always dark-skinned melanated. So these maps we're going to show you is going to go to that thing, showing you that the indigenous people it was already dark-skinned melanated people here. And they lied about the slave trade. They actually was enslaving the American Indians and sending them to Europe from North, Central, South America and the Caribbean islands. Remember, the Caribbean islands is really part of North America, and it is staying down in some of them to South America. Trinidad and shit is closer to South America. I'm going to show y'all that in a minute before we get into the maps. some of these countries is closer to South America, but it's a buck of them is closer to North America. So when you're talking about Jamaica and Haiti and them are just the islands off of North America, as you can see in the map behind us. If you see right over here, but they was trading the Indians from here to the Caribbean islands. That's why that's important. They was trading the Indians from here over to Europe. That's why that's important. They were sending them to Africa and then back over here. They were sending Indians from Jamaica, Haiti, and Mexico up here. They was trading the indigenous American people, and it's a whole history of Indian slavery they don't even talk about. They just keep you stuck in the psyop of African slavery because they it's real. It's deeper than what they didn't. It's deeper than what you think. They didn't change everything up. They didn't switch the shit around. The Novus Ordo Secloris, a new world order. You're already in a new world order. They changed the history of the world and they wiped America out of history. Telling you this is a beautiful continent. For every one pyramid that's in Africa, you have 1,000 in America. Facts. So when you start getting deeper into ancient America, and as we dive deeper into this, I want our people to know the foundation of what this is and what we're talking about and who we is. So when you're hearing people saying, "Oh, we're American Indians," nobody, we're not pulling this. We're not making this up. We didn't go make all these maps up. These are maps made 15, 16, 1700s. It's books that tell you what it is. The current education system purposely don't give this information out because America is still under colonization. And not only have they lied to us, they have lied to everybody in the United States. And I'm just going, before we get into it, I'm just want to say this last part. They lie to everybody in the United States because they even have, you got to understand, the white T America, they made them a upper class. It's about classism too. They don't like them. You know what I'm saying? They don't fuck with them. They slaves first. White T people were enslaved even in this land too. They just fancied it up and packaged it back up nicely to make white supremacy work. Because they invite the whites over here, their own lower class of people over here, to help subjugate the indigenous people. And they did that all over the world. They did this in Australia, South Africa, wherever you find them, they do it. They invite them over, make a caste system, and subjugate them. But they never liked it, the lower class whites anyway. Just in America, it just happened. It worked with the middle class. They made a middle class out of it, let them start getting property and stuff. But it's a whole history of how white people were slaves. I mean, getting beat the fuck up on the plantation. And even in Europe, they were slaves. They was trading in Europe. There's information on this. So we just saying in the whole thing, they've changed the history of the world, people. So you have to put your thinking caps on and you have to want to know what's going on, because the thing of it is the people who rule this earth, they're going off what they know, the truth. And that truth is holding America as a colonial asset forever. So the people ruling, they understand a certain truth, and they know that they wealth, a lot of these people wealth comes from the America continent. Talking about these different organizations, like we said earlier, the Pope who put this edict out back in 1492. He never took the edict away about the colonization of America. So even in today with times, we're still dealing with colonial warfare because these people benefit from keeping America colonized and keeping the American people under lies and illusion. So we're going to talk about it today, and we're going to build the foundation, understanding we are the indigenous people of America. That's the first step in us healing our people mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and financially. I believe we have to start there, understanding who we are and understanding that we are an ethnic group of people. I think that start there to us understanding how we have more things in common than apart, so we can bring back moralism and laws to our community within the United States, and we'll be able to also within that build back wealth and build back business, build back everything, and just build our communities back here right in America, in the United States, by understanding from many tribes one, you know. We've been denationalized. We've been detribalized. A lot of us know what our grandparents saying, but how did we get here? What does that mean when they were saying you were Indian, they were Indian? It means we were the indigenous people of the Americas. So let's hop right into it. That was just a little introduction. The introduction, put your seatbelt on because we finna take off today. Y'all feel me? So let's get right to it. So this first map that we are going to get into today is going to be the Tamerican map. This map is it's titled Tamerican Jewish Van Florida Door Fernando de Soto. All right, it's a fascinating map based largely upon Sanson's map of Florida from 1657. The map extends from Lac Erie Jordan River, two French forts built by Rebart in 1562 in Lauderdale. So, wow. It said map shows America, Southwest, Texas, Southeast, Midwest, South, and United States. So let's get into this first map. Now, this map is significant because a lot of people, as myself, y'all gonna hear me say Tamari. The civilization I was telling y'all we come from, the Mississippian Republic, which was a whole bunch of republics through all these what we call now states. Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas, even going up as far to Michigan, Wisconsin. You're going to see the same culture all throughout here. Even when you get into the West, a lot of scholars will tell the truth. When you get going all the way to the Pacific Ocean, you see the same mound building culture all throughout this land. So this map, you're going to see on it where it says Tamari. A lot of us say Tamari. That goes back to the Egyptian undertones with it too, because you're going to see a lot of that once you start studying too. But a lot of us say that, so you're going to hear me say the Tamerican people. I feel like that's important for us to give a name to the Mississippian culture, and that's what I like to call it, that what I roll with it. So when I talk about Black America over here on this channel, you're going to hear me say Tamericans. That just means the indigenous Americans of North America, what we call it now today the United States. So this is one of the most maps you're going to see a lot. And as you can see on here what it said, the Tamari, but also what you see, it said in the description, Fernando de Soto, another name, Hernando de Soto, one of the first colonizers who got here in 1540. You see him meeting the indigenous melanated people. Let me see, can I zoom in even more on it? It won't let me go in no more, but you see that down here? You see them? And Florida. And another thing you always going to understand when we do our talking about indigenous America or the Mississippian culture, the mound building culture, or Tamari, you're going to understand that when you're talking about Florida, all this was Florida. So the whole Southeast. So right here is what they're going to call modern day Florida. But when they got here, they called everything all the way up. You see Lake Erie up here. They had everything going all the way up past Virginia. And on a lot of maps, you're not even going to see Virginia on it because this is a later map in the 1700s. But when they got here, they didn't even call it Virginia or Carolina. You see Carolina over here in this corner right here, and then Virginia right here. But you see Lake Erie up here. But the point I'm making is the whole Southeast was at one time called Florida. So shout out to all my people who really stand on 10 toes down that Florida is the South. Even going over to Texas, when y'all say Texas, Florida, and the Carolinas is not the South, damn near the whole east side of America used to be called the South. And it's important because when you read books, and we're going to get into the book, Florida of the Incas, and talk about the conquest of Florida. But when we say that, y'all understand, we're talking about a vast region, what they was calling Florida. And Hernando de Soto came here in 1540. And one of the greatest wars ever on this land happened between him and Tuscaloosa. This is one of the bloodiest wars in American history. They don't tell you about it because in the American school system, they start the history purposely with Jamestown. Over almost 100 years later, when they started coming here in 1513, they had Columbus that came in 1492 to the Caribbean islands. But then after Columbus, you have other conquistadors, which is conquerors, came to conquer this land, got title from different European leadership or the rulership over in leader the kings and queens. They got permission from them to come conquer these lands. And from 1513, Florida this is significant for our people to understand who we is because we have a history, and they got their ass smacked. They kept getting smacked. Every time they got their shores, South Carolina, smacked. Shores of Florida, what you call today, the Tampa Bay, smacked. Florida, the shores off of Texas, smacked. And this is different from the history that they tell you where you was a slave, you didn't protect your women, and the women and men, the whole community was smacking them. Even up to when you go into Connecticut, smacked. They were getting smacked. This is why the conqueror tell the history. He tell the history. But it's significant when you're looking at this. Who do you see? Dark-skinned, melanated people on the map. And it relates where you say Florida. But again, this Florida, you see Florida, it's the whole southeast going from Texas all the way over to South Carolina. Going from down here, which would be around Louisiana, all the way up to what we say damn near Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, over to New York. Because books would tell you when you read on this that they call Florida all the way up past the Chesapeake Bay. Some called it all the way up until they called it all the way up into Canada, as you can see even on the map. So they had a Pacific region they was coming to conquer, but even on this map, you see the melanated dark-skinned people here on the map, and you see even in the background right here, you see more melanated dark-skinned people right here. This is one of the oldest things, again, the conquest of Florida. So y'all see it? All right, let's get into it. Now, getting deeper into it, we also want to talk about just building on the foundation that we are indigenous to the Americas. Now, we have a lot of people who understand this, and back before a certain time, people was talking about it. It was just a common thing. What happened is our society collapsed, and after warfare, we was fighting them up into the 1800s, trying to retain land and different things of that nature, and our societies collapsed over here. And again, we got reclassified to Negroes, blacks, and coloreds. But prior to that information, that's why all over in the 18, 17, 16, 15, 1400s, quote unquote American Indians were already depicted as what they're going to call black people. Because the black people are the indigenous Americans, just like in every continent. And you got learned men who were saying this. You got people who were saying it. It wasn't a secret. It did not until you get into the new education. Now, they always have been trying to push the narrative and change it up and say, oh, you're from Africa. And the point is that because if they make us African, remember, this all throughout the continent. So they say that they tell the Jamaicans that they're African too, the Brazilians that they're African. But I got everybody on this whole continent, the melanated indigenous people, the Indian tribes that I conquered their ancestors. If I got all of them thinking that they're African, then I have America forever and the resources of America forever. And then my families, I'm talking in the colonizer term, our families can motherfucking keep exploiting these resources and exploiting the people and exploiting the continent to the end of time. And these different organizations. Again, we said the Pope give it out, so that go right to the Roman Catholic Church. So, you talking about reparations, they owe them too. You know, but the thing of it is we have this man right here, Carlos Cuervo Marquez, and he said this after he studied the Americas. This is a quote, so let's start right into it. The Negro type is seen in the most ancient Mexican sculpture. The Negroes figure frequently in the most remote traditions of some American pueblos. It is to this race doubtlessly belongs the most ancient skeletons, distinct from the red American race, which have been found in various places from Bolivia to Mexico. It is likely that we repeat, America was a Negro continent. Carlos Cuervo Marquez, Estudios Arqueológicos, why? I'm not going to say that last word, but 1920, he said this. And as he repeated it, I'm going to repeat it again for you, for the people who didn't catch that in the back. The Negro type is seen in the most ancient Mexican sculptures. The Negro figure frequently in the most remote traditions of some American pueblo. It is to this race doubtlessly belongs the most ancient skeletons distinct from the red American race, which have been found in various places from Bolivia to Mexico. It is likely that we repeat, America was a Negro continent. And not that America was just a Negro continent. America is a Negro continent because we are still here, just reclassified as blacks, Negroes, coloreds. We've been reclassified. We're still here. Throughout the whole continent, we're here. and Africans now, because even down, like I said, in Brazil, they're telling them they're Afro-Caribbean. But when you go study the history of America and the population numbers, that's an illusion. But understand, America was a Negro continent. As he said, we can go study. We have archaeologists, people who study bones and different things of that nature. You have Lusia. Anybody not familiar with that? I have talked about that over on TikTok, so y'all go check out the TikTok page. We're gonna talk about it over here as well too. But you have Lusia. The oldest bones found in America is of a Negroid woman. You have Negro bones being dug up in the Caribbean islands. So it's all throughout the continent. All throughout the continent. We want to drill that down. Same thing when you go into the oldest cave paintings. They depict Negroid people. Like the oldest cave painting in America is of an Olmec in a cave. Two dark skinned melanated people in a cave. And they had different paints because when they showed the paint on the painting, it was different colors in the paint, so they knew what they was doing. Even in the temples down in Mexico. So understanding what this man's saying, as we go build on that and go look into that, is other people who are not even of our ethnic group who was saying this. But when our people of our own ethnic group go look into this, we find evidence of this fact. So this is a fact. America was a Negroid continent. And the deeper you want to look, the more you're going to find. We was already here. We didn't come on a slave trade. The slave trade told in reverse again. America was a Negro continent. Before we get into the maps, people, we just gonna go through this. We're gonna hop into the maps, but I just want to break it down for somebody who may be new to this. Again, this is the foundation, episode 1. So it being a foundation, we got to get the basics of this. The definition of America 1828 is American, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Y'all get it? So America was once applied to the copper-colored races. What is copper? Copper is different colors of brown. Do I got a penny on me? Do I got one up in here? Hopefully I got two because I want to show y'all the difference. I only got one. Oh, this changing. Nope. 1 penny. I got 1 penny, but different colors of brown. The copper colored races. Copper colored. Different colors of brown. Hopefully y'all can see that. Let me just put it up like this. Different colors of brown. Copper colored races. Different colors of brown. And this was the 1828 definition of America. A native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals. Aboriginal mean the oldest inhabitants of a land. Same thing as indigenous. The indigenous, the first people of a land. Aboriginal indigenous or origine. You can say origine and indigenous. Some people don't like the Aboriginal word. I go back and forth with it, but Aboriginal or indigenous. America was originally applied to the Aborigines or the copper-colored races found here by Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Copper-colored races. Copper-colored. Let's get into this. Different shades of brown. American Beauty poster. Different shades of brown. And I'm showing y'all this before we get into the map, so I want y'all to visualize one. So when you walk out into public and you see your people, especially the so-called Black American people, or even if you're in the country of Jamaica, or you go visit down to the Caribbean islands, or you ever make it to Brazil, Colombia, South America, understand the different shades of brown, copper-colored people. But here in the United States, they say the 1828 definition, the Websters say the copper-colored people was the Aboriginal people. Different shades of brown. Different shades of brown. The copper-colored races. Different shades of brown. Light brown, dark brown. Light brown, dark brownish. Different shades of brown, the Aboriginal people of America, copper-colored people. So we know from this 1828 definition that we have copper-colored people. They saying is the copper-colored people. So when we look back on this map right here, this is not wild because the 1828 definition said it was copper-colored people in America, dark-skinned, melanated people. Again, when we talking about America, I know everybody ain't good with geography. Just throw this in real quick. We talking about the whole continent of America. And all continent, on this whole continent, no matter where you go, you got dark-skinned, melanated, copper-colored people, as the 1828 definition of American stated. This is the United States. Let's look at it in this view. All our respected states. And we was a culture of people already here, as I told y'all, the Mississippian Empire. And we got maps that show the Mississippi Empire stretched from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. When you read on it, they're going to try to relate it to just the southeast or east of the Mississippi and a little part west of the Mississippi. Probably going from what you call Dallas area, parts of Kansas, and this all the way over here. They're going to try to relate it to just that, especially the southeast and the eastern seaboard up here and stuff. They say that's where the Mississippian culture just there. But the Mississippi, all this was the Mississippian culture. And the Mississippian culture was also related down here. When you're talking about Mexico and the Gulf of Mexico, all these cultures were related. And we know this through looking at the artifacts. We know this through trade. And we know this just through studying the cultures. They was all related. All related. The Caribbean islands, a lot of people don't know. And no judgment, but it's some people who think the Caribbean islands, like Jamaica, is in Africa. Jamaica is islands off of America. This is the mainland. This is the mainland, and these are the islands. And this foundation is important, so when we're talking about certain places, y'all know where they're at. It's okay to say you don't know. Some people are ashamed to know. Some people just never cared about geography. Geography happened to be my favorite subject, one of them. So you see Florida right there, but right off Florida, you got the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic. This is Hispaniola, the first island Christopher Columbus got to. Puerto Rico, you got all these different islands, British Virgin Islands. That's where y'all know, U.S. Virgin Islands, where they say ep and them do a lot of that. You know, we just started episode 1. We ain't even going to go down that road right now today. We're going to wait to build up to that. We're going to say that for another series. We going to keep it here. But there it go right there, the islands. But it's in America. It's in the American continent. It's the islands off of America. So, again, I'm just showing y'all this is the Caribbean, Barbados. That's where Rihanna from. Grenada. You got people from there. Let me see. Trinidad and Tobago. Is that it? Yup, it's right here. You see Trinidad and Tobago is right in off the shores of South America. Off the shores of Venezuela. Yep, off the shores of Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago. That's where Nikki from. But it's still the American continent, people. Then you got Brazil. You got one of the blackest cities, quote unquote, blackest cities. Again, the black people in the Americas are really the American Indians. This is continental wide. And we'll talk about Africans coming over here, but let me tell y'all, they exaggerated those numbers. They're lying. It's an illusion. Because again, if all these people in this continent, I can deceive them and make them think they're African, I have America forever. Checkmate. So it's a political thing, people. It's a strategy, a war strategy. Understand this. Unfortunately, it's just brainwashing. They do that when war. You know, nobody wants to believe that somebody would do that, but they do this, and the evidence shows this is what they do. But yep, you got a city called Salvador in Brazil. Is one of the quote unquote blackest cities. But Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, all this was conquered by the Spanish. And all this is the American continent. Central America, Belize. It's a site we're going to talk about it over here too on this page. It's a site in Belize called Alabama. Because remember, Alabama is an indigenous word. So that's telling you a connection right there. It's a site in Belize called Alabama. And I talked about that on TikTok before. I shared that with some people. But we got Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. So I just want people to understand this. Mexico, all that is North America. But some people, we may say Central America. But it's all North America. But Or this is the American continent. So when you see these maps, understand they're gonna cover them from North America, Caribbean islands, and South America. And no matter where you go, they were showing on this continent, it was the dark-skinned melanated people are the aboriginals or origines of this continent. Just going on with that, the map that I'm showing y'all throughout the continent, I just want y'all to understand these numbers of people that's here from the United States. They call it an African diaspora, the African diaspora. They call it an African diaspora, but get out the trickology. That's to trick your mind again, to reclassify you for colonial purposes. From the United States all the way down to Belize. United States, we got over 46 million people here. Brazil, 20 million. They say when they start adding in they mixed people, they got up to 80 million with Brazil. Haiti, 10 million. Colombia, 4 million. Mexico. So on. Y'all see this Dominican Republic. These is the Caribbeans. So it's a lot of us in the Americas. It's a lot of us in the Americas. And when you get into the totals of it, you don't know if they tell the truth, because here in the United States, we don't even answer our census like that. But I just want to show you all the numbers, understanding the power that we have in the United States. We start understanding we the indigenous people and that we are an ethnic tribe because we've been denationalized, but we still come from a common origin of culture here in the United States. We're talking about the Southeast, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Arkansas, Louisiana, so forth, so on. We come from this common origin of things. We was already here, people, and they enslaved the Indians, traded them all throughout this land from different states and to different places of the world, different places in America and different places on the other part of the world. We are ethnic tribe. Reclassified. Then from the 1900s, that's when you start getting that civil rights stuff. But prior to that, they're mixing your history up. So you can stay in limbo. But 4 million people, Texas, Florida, 3 million. This is more than whole. In some of our states, we got more than whole what they got in Caribbean islands, Mexico. We have a large number of people here. I wanted y'all to just see that. Michigan. We got over 1 million, quote unquote, black people who we know are the aborigines of America. So a million, quote unquote, American Indians. Aboriginals. Million plus, almost 1.5 million in Michigan. Ohio, 1.6 million. Illinois, 1.8 million. You got more in them, and I say that because sometimes it gets skewed because people be like, oh, I didn't know. It's some people in the South, so I didn't know it was that many black people in the Midwest. I'm like, we all come from South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas. We came from the South. Alabama, Michigan, and Ohio and Illinois got more people than Alabama. More so, quote unquote, black people than Alabama, than Tennessee and Mississippi. Y'all get that? Then Arkansas. Then Kentucky. So when you're talking about the culture of the North, even in New York, you got 3.5 million, quote unquote, black people. Now we know New York City is again overran by a lot of people of different ethnic groups immigrating here. But you also know that you got Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, upstate New York, and other parts of New York, and you still have a quote unquote black American culture. And another thing, these numbers, you got to add to them because our people don't answer their census. When have you ever seen somebody fill out a census? But I'll just show you all this to understand that in building this foundation, we talking about 46 million people. We are bigger than most countries. We are bigger than most countries at 46 million, and we is more than 46 million. I would say 60 million. But even if we just take their 46 million with their line, we are almost right there with Uganda, making us one of the 10th largest melanated nations on Earth. We got to put this in a proper perspective. The 10th greatest melanated, the 10th largest by population melanated single ethnic group on Earth. Because since we from America and the United States, whether you want to believe we from Africa, whether we're indigenous to the Americas, whatever not, at the same time, we're the same ethnic group. It don't matter. We an ethnic group with different ideologies. And we're the largest ethnic group here. All us in the States. We talking about specifically right here in the United States. When we talk about so-called Black America, when I say Tamari or Tamericans, I'm talking about the indigenous people of America of the Mississippian Empire. So quote unquote Black America, Tamericans, the American Indians who've been reclassified to black, Negroes, and coloreds, we the largest single ethnic group. We got even more people than Canada. I want y'all to understand this because sometimes we don't understand our power. And before we get into this, let's just look in perspective here. So if we was our own nation, by their numbers, I say we 60 million. By my numbers, my numbers, we'd be like the 23rd or 24th largest country on earth if we was our own people. By their numbers, they're saying 46 million. We'll be 31 out of 32 out of 195 different sovereign nations. So then when y'all start talking about what they say the black dollar, you talking about 46 million to 60 million of purchasing power. And again, the black dollar is the indigenous dollar. And we're going to get into this. But just understand that. At they 46 million, we'll be between Argentina and Algeria. If we go with the 60 million plus, we'll be between right up there with South Africa. Just our own ethnic group in the United States. That's how big our ethnic group is. And they're telling us all of us came from Africa. But when we go study that and we go start really looking at this history, that's a lie and illusion. They were just enslaving the American Indians, the people who was already here. And any good business person would do that. Why would you go get people from a whole nother land who don't know about the crops here and enslave them when you can just enslave the people already in the house? You already war with them and fighting with them, and that's what happened. And when you look at the slaves came from when you lost battles of us defending this land. That's how you got to the plantation. But just like the maps, before we get into maps, you can get into books as well that's going to show American Indians. Again, this is a book I just stumbled across. I put this on my Instagram, but I just want to show y'all this too. This is in a different language. I believe it's Dutch, but I went here and I seen this. So go along with the maps, the definitions of copper colored America being 1828 definition, a copper colored people. You got the same thing here when you pull up books. First cover of the books, and there's many more where this came from. As the first map we showed you, the Tamari map, is many more. Let's get a little in here a little more. This is the first cover of a book, and this book was wrote a couple hundred years ago. Look at the details, look at the people, the Indian crowns. In a lot of books, I see this little Egyptian headdress. You'll see pharaohs wear this too. You always see this in a lot of the pictures. You see him bringing them the gold. Y'all see that down there? Let me come up, put it down some so y'all can see it. See right there, this is significant right here. Y'all see that? Then up here in the corner, you see the Jesuit priests coming and say, hey, let me civilize y'all uncivilized savages and bring y'all Christianity. And to any of the Christians, that's how it was spread. That's just an honest truth throughout the earth. They pushed this on people. Well, their version of Christianity, because Christianity was not made by them, though. That's the thing about it. But they took it, corrupted it, and forced it on the earth of their understanding of it as a form of conquest, and mind control as well. But that's what happened. So you're going to see this in books as well. Let's get into this another book. This is from 1671. America being the latest and most accurate description of the New World. Look at this picture. Now people got this in color. You can see this one in color, but even in the black and white one, you see dark-skinned, melanated people. You see right, y'all see right here? Look at him. Let's go down. Look at them. Him, he's just a lighter brown, copper-colored people, from lighter brown to dark brown. See them in the back? And this you always see like European slaves as well. You do see that here. And then you hear him bringing up a black Indian king or chief. So I'll show you all this to say it's not just on maps. You're going to find it in maps. You're going to find it in books. You're going to find it in artifacts. You're going to find it inside temples. You're going to find it in statues. You're going to find it, the most important, in your genealogy. That's where you're going to find it, right there. That's going to prove it all. And when you go start going back to that thing when your grandparents were saying we were Indians, and you go start looking back what happened to our people, you're going to understand that you are in your own land. And these people who control the world powers, the world economy, these people are diabolical. And they're extracting from the tobacco fields, the oil, they're extracting all our resources and selling it on the global market. And that's why they have reclassified us to Negroes, blacks, and coloreds, because it is about the resources. And the resources of America. Because that's how they stay rich. They got Africa late. We're going to get into that another day, but this is just a foundation. For y'all to understand this is everywhere. And in this book, they have a lot of depictions. Let me see, can I find one real quick before we move forward? Of the people being melanated indigenous people. There go one. I'm going to find y'all another one. Again, how I was telling y'all, Florida, they got a whole chapter of Florida in here. I can't remember what page. It's a lot of pages, so I ain't going to go through all of them because I don't want to hold here, but see. Here go one example of it. Let me get in on that. Y'all see this? And this is a good read too. We get a lot of good information in this book. If you ever just read it, it's called America being the most latest and accurate description of the New World. And a copy of this book, I looked at one time, one copy was over $100,000. So you see this melanated dark-skinned people, it's like they sicking dogs on this person, they torture them. And this is why the same thing they was doing in the 1960s. They've been sicking dogs on you, all type of horrendous stuff. But when they first got here, they was doing so many deep atrocities. Like if you didn't bring them enough gold, they'll run up on you. They wanted to go, they'll cut your arm out and send you back to your village so your villagers can be intimidated by that. They had no regard for the old or the young. Understand this. They still don't have today. Look how the country is being ran. But I wanted to show you all that it's in books as well too. So moving forward, we're going to get right into the maps. We're going to get into the maps now. And right here, this is a screenshot of a map. I think I got the picture of the actual map here though, but this is a screenshot. But I really want to show y'all this just to read, as we had a quote in the beginning, just another quote of what Verrazano said about the American Indians. This is an Italian explorer. And you can find this quote in books too if you go search about Giovanni da Verrazano. So you can see this is a real quote. This is not no one making up. But what he said about the indigenous Americas of the Carolinas, he said the complexion of the Carolina Indians is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Let me read that first line to you guys again for the people in the back. The complexion of the Carolina Indians is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. Their hair is black and thick, and not very long, tied behind the head like a small tail. As for the physique of these men, they are well proportioned or medium height, a little taller than we are. They have broad chests, strong arms, and the legs and other parts of the body are well composed. They're broad in the face and have big black eyes. They have a sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. The complexion of the Carolina Indians is black, not much different from that of the Ethiopians. We laying the foundation there, everybody. Is big time area. Let's keep going. Again, keep in mind that we showed y'all this map in the beginning. The whole southeast was called Florida, even higher up from the southeast, going all the way up, far as Virginia. Before they labeled that Virginia, at one time all of it was called Florida. And again, same as the Carolina Indians, the quote unquote Florida Indians, or the whole southeast, because that would be the Carolina Indians, I guess, because remember, all of the southeast was called Florida in the 1500s. Up to the 1700s when this map was made, because the earlier maps in the 1500s, again, don't put Virginia and Carolina on there. But they dark-skinned, melanated people. Dark-skinned, melanated indigenous people. I'm showing y'all again just to show y'all, build on the point when I tell y'all Florida was the whole southeast. You see how I stretch? The whole southeast. So it wasn't Alabama, Tennessee, or Texas. When they got here, they labeled all this Florida. And you had a whole culture already here, Mississippi and mound building culture. Pyramid building culture. Because a mound is a truncated pyramid. One thing you always going to see in maps is this too. You always going to see California as an island. And some maps going to say the Red Sea on there as well. Another thing on these maps that you go see when you start getting into the maps that's interesting and especially is significant on this map, the 7 streams of the Egyptian Sea. Now they say the Nile River is over there, but in the book, in the Bible, it says that the Egyptian Sea has 7 streams. Oh, the Nile has, where's the 7 streams in the Nile? Where is it at? Oh, okay. It's 7 streams right here. You got the Ohio River. You also got the Tennessee River. You got the Missouri River, the Arkansas River, the Red River. So the streams are here. Then also another thing to note, remember the Bible, they said a river parted in 4 ways. You see that right there. But again, I just wanted to show y'all that again. Florida, just to double down, you're going to see a lot of maps. Not just in this collection. If you go do your own research or you start just stumbling upon things, you're always going to see maps saying the whole southeast was called Florida. And even, again, farther than just the southeast, past the Mississippi River was called Florida. You see Florida is stretched past, again, the Mississippi River on this map. It's going deep into Texas. That's why the cultures there are all so relegated. When you get to East Texas, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida, Virginia, even parts of Kentucky is the cultures. And a lot of through the Great Migration, a lot of people bring it back to the north through like Chicago, Detroit, where I'm at, in a smaller city in Michigan. Saginaw and Youngstown, Ohio is like that. They're small. Canton, Ohio. It's a lot of us all throughout America. Not just in the big cities, even in the smaller metropolitan areas in the country town. But we got to understand this thing about Florida, and we're going to dive into a book again on this page about that, the conquest of Florida, because this is where the history is going down there. And this is where this downfall that our people had went through, or where we at right now, it started there. And that's why they don't start the history with the Spanish conquest. They start the history over here with the English conquest and the Pilgrims. They skip a whole 100 and something years of history. They take you from 1492 and get you right to 1611. Because they don't want to talk about Florida. Because then they lie gonna fall apart. Because the first conquest in Florida that Hernando de Soto came across was the fight with Tuscaloosa. Have y'all ever heard of Tuscaloosa, Alabama? His first fight was Tuscaloosa, the Black Warrior. Tuscaloosa literally means the Black Warrior. And the city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama sits on the Black Warrior River. So when you start talking about the conquest of Florida, it was a couple people came before Hernando de Soto, but once Hernando de Soto got here, it went down. Again, I told you it was one of the greatest wars that happened on his land. But since his name is the Black Warrior, wow, you can't start it there. When Tuscaloosa today still sits on the Black Warrior River. The river and the city is named after Tuscaloosa, the great warrior. And it's a beautiful story. We really need to get production and make a movie about this. Because this is a beautiful story with Tuscaloosa. Let's keep going. The Virginia Indians. You see this? This is the map. We finna get into the meeting. We really finna get into the maps now, y'all. So let me just show y'all the two we already seen. We seen the top American map first. The other map I just showed y'all, it ain't had the people, it ain't had nobody on it. I just wanted to show y'all a point, showing y'all Florida again. Now we finna get into depictions of melanated people in America. All right, now we got Virginia. You see the Virginia Indians? And look, Virginia, a province of, ooh, Virginia, part of Florida. But y'all look at this. Who's there? Let's get deeper in it. Let's get in the meat and butter. Y'all see this dark-skinned melanated Indian? Look at the headdress. Look at the head wraps. Look at the skin color. Virginia. And y'all can see over here, y'all can see as it is Virginia, the coast of Virginia. Let's go up. We have some more up here. Y'all see it? Okay, we got more up there. You see these people, they in the lake. And it's so funny they in this lake because when they got here, they was looking for the fountain of youth. They already had knew about America. Now, y'all got to understand, America had many names. That whole thing, again, I told y'all that they didn't know Christopher Columbus. They knew they was coming over for conquest and to pillage the land and the people. And even in the Doctrine of Discovery, he said, go make them perpetual slaves. That means slaves forever. And to make you a slave forever, that means they have to start with you being a mental slave. Y'all see this? Let's get a little deeper. And y'all see them colors? We say the people at Tamari, them colors we gonna use blue, gold, and red. Blue, yellow, and red. America, Virginia. Y'all see it? Bam. Let's go back down to the one at the bottom again for y'all. Now I'm gonna zoom out. Virginia, Florida. Now it's making sense why I showed y'all the maps of Florida, so it makes sense to y'all. Copper colored people of America. Now, what's significant about Virginia, again, I told y'all we got statues. Like, you got Chief Powhatan. Let me show y'all this. Y'all see this? Y'all see this? The features? So, when we talking about Virginia as well, and we see this in Virginia, something to build on top of that, understanding about the Virginia Indians, is going to be the Powhatan statue. And this is in the Virginia Museum. So, what is it called? Yep, the Virginia Museum of History and Culture. This is an actual statue, and you see the features of this statue. Again, we can find artifacts and statues all over here, but I want y'all to just see this video real quick and look at this in the Virginia Museum. Now, again, they always gonna have the whitewashed versions of this, but this is in the Virginia Museum. Why would they have this version in there? Look at the features on this.
Got so many memories that I made on Casket Road. I done gained the world. I ain't never sell my soul.
Turn that music down so they don't try to get us. Y'all see this? This is in the Virginia Museum of History. And even down there, it say 1924 racial identity. So they even tell you in Virginia. Shout out to Virginia though for this history and for this jam. But they probably telling you that because Virginia, you gotta understand who is we're very wealthy in Virginia. You know, we got a lot of people in Virginia in the DC area, our own people who are very wealthy, and they got a little power over there. Because this is in the Virginia Museum, and I also got a book that tell you about a Pan African who had found that the mound builders would supposedly be an African people. So he heard about a terracotta stone that was in a Detroit museum, but the Detroit people would not contact him back. He tried everything. He said this terracotta stone depicted Aboriginal American Negroid, but he was caught saying, "Hey, they came from Africa." So his basis was the Africans were here first, but that just wasn't. That's not the truth. That's just a lie. The people here was already indigenous Negroid people, just like in Australia and Asia. All over the earth has indigenous Negroid people. So I just want y'all to see this real quick. Look at them features on that. And this poet time. This is Pocahontas' daddy. So Bill North Virginia, when you seeing these maps, understand this is a real deal what we talking about. We just in a trickology, a great deception, but that deception is falling. So let's go. Let's keep going. Now, on Powhatan, just like with the other Indians, we have a quote, and it says, in the early 1600s, John Smith, explorer of the first permanent English colony, described the indigenous people that he was at war with on the eastern shore of North America in Jamestown, Virginia, the Powhatan Indians. So remember, they got a statue in the Virginia Museum of History of a Negroid Indian as Powhatan. And now someone is going to describe Powhatan. The Algonquin chief, he said, more like a devil than a man, with some 200 more as black as himself. Mm-mm-mm. So when you see the maps, just even the descriptions of the Indians is telling you that they're dark-skinned indigenous people. Let's keep going. Now this is another map. Let me zoom out on this one so y'all can see it. And they say that North America. Y'all see it? See Louisiana here. And as the different colonizers came, you see on a lot of early maps, you're always going to see Florida right here. On the very early ones, it's going to be Florida. But as the French came in, they started labeling different things. You see, now you got Louisiana. You see Georgia is now forming. And it's all about who made the map, what colonial powers made the map too. So you see it on a lot of maps you don't see the older maps you don't see the Great Lakes, but on the newer ones you start seeing the Great Lakes. That's a little suspicious too. But you see them now on this map. But what we really came here is for the bread and butter to show you the melanated indigenous people. Now let's zoom in and go back over here. To get that corner, we're gonna have to zoom in a lot. You see it's a map of North America right there. And you see the melanated indigenous people. Remember, you still see the yellow, red, and blue. Sometimes you see red, white, and blue. Or gold, red, and blue. You see that a lot of theme on the American Indians, but you always see them colorful. Think about our people today on Easter. We hop out colorful. There's many ways to get home with this information to prove who we are. Many ways to get home with this information to prove who we are as a people. Even when we start getting to what we eat today in the food sources, like point blank period. Grits is a indigenous American food from the southeast. Grits, and who eat grits? Cornbread is an indigenous American food of the southeast. Who eat cornbread? Who taught y'all grandmas how to make cornbread or hot water cornbread specifically? Who taught them how to make that? How would they know how to make this as a culture? And the so-called Native Americans don't even make this. How would they know how to make this? when corn is an indigenous American food. When you talk about fried corn, getting that corn off the cob, that's an indigenous American food. You can prove it that way. There's many ways to get home, but we showing you the information today. There you go. Right here, we have two indigenous Americans. Let's go to another one. This is kind of like the same map, but it's a different map. You see it's different colors, so it's two different maps. But we're going to get in that corner again. Y'all see on here, it's showing Louisiana still. You got Louisiana, which they was calling Florida. Now they calling it Louisiana. You still got Florida, but it's now what we call modern day Florida forming. Let's get in this corner. You see that? Dark-skinned melanated Indians. Now, all these map makers are already, and we got descriptions, we got definitions, but now we got the map makers. All these map makers are making these people as dark-skinned, indigenous, melanated people from the 15, 16, 1700s. And a lot of these maps, when you go look back on the modern day versions, they change them. They just make them white tea people. I'm telling you what's going on. Robbery and thievery. Uh, they just make them melanated. They just make them white tea people. They change it from being melanated people and make them white tea. Or European, let's say that. Albion European. Because you get into it, you know all the Europeans weren't always Albion. Or had less melanin. But you see them? The melanated people. And you always see they bow and arrows, and they always look royal and, together. Here go another one. I love this one. This is showing South America. This is South America, but let's get in on it and let's get in close on this one. Bam. Oh, let me go out because you can get in close. There we go. Y'all see this? America, Amerique, Soy America. Y'all see the conquistadors or colonizers, and then now you got the indigenous American people. Let's get there. Y'all see? They depict them as dark-skinned, melanated people, also known, the people have been reclassified as black. Y'all see it? Why would they depict these people right, then depict these people wrong? Come on, we gotta use our thinking caps. All the map makers, these are made by different maps. I mean, these maps are made by different people, excuse me. Let's get into this one. Zoom in here. This is, I believe, New Netherlands. So this is up here by like New York. What they call today Virginia. I believe look like New Jersey, New York. Y'all see this right here? Let's get a little closer so y'all can see it. Down here in the corner. Let's look at him first. Oh, let me go over. Y'all see him? Him first right there. Now we got these people. Let's go over some more. Even here in the corners. In the background, the people they have in the background, talking about the people of the continent, you got, again, the copper colored people. The melanated people. Let's get up a little closer on this. New Amsterdam, so New York. So you heard old dirty bastard talk about he was an Indian, and Howard Stern was trying to play on him in his face. Y'all see what's going on. This man not lying. And we also have in this area Connecticut Indians going back with the King Philip War. They were selling these Indians, the indigenous people, to Barbados. Now they're gonna try to tell you these people in the Caribbean was coming from Africa. The people in the Caribbean was coming from North America. Facts. All you gotta do is do your research. Don't let Imhotep tell you. You go look up. You go look it up yourself. But I'm going to show you the information, and just like uh, we're going to show you the information, but it's for you to do the research. We're going to give you the access to it the best we can. Melanated people, you see, and again, all throughout here, you see, even little babies that look like they carrying. All right, let's go to the next one. This another one. This is off the Peru and Chile, the coast of Peru and Chile. If y'all see up here in the corner, y'all see Peru and Chile. And y'all see what's going on down here in the corner. Let's get to it. Yep. Y'all see that? Chile and Peru. So when we tell y'all South America, going back to the map, anybody geography, remember this is Chile and Peru. We've been up in Florida. We've been up here already. The map makers are depicting the indigenous people up here, just like the definition, copper-colored, melanated people. Down here in the American continent, here go Peru, and here go Chile. Peru, Chile right under there. And you still have melanated dark-skinned people here in Chile and Peru. And it said, and Guatemala, Chile, Peru, and Guatemala. So y'all see it? He getting the gold from. So who was they making the slaves? You see, at this early on, he still got his Indian attire on. Who are they making the slaves? He getting the gold. Then you see him. He look like a European slave taking the gold for them, the merchant class. And we know who the merchant class is. Put your thinking caps on. Put your thinking caps on, people. The merchants who run the economy today, all aspects, everything you find behind everything. There you go, you got it. We just started the foundation, so see, you got the king and queen. But when you go into it's telling you a whole story on the map that you got the American Indian, and he digging for gold. They're robbing the American Indians of gold, and they also have European. You can tell these people are European slaves. These are not the European rurals. They're not dressed like the rural. They are working for the rurals. So y'all see it? Where they are working for the merchants, and the merchants are then working for the rurals. You see? Conquest of the Americas, of the melanated black people of the Americas. Not Africa, but America. Let's keep going. This is another depiction. Let's get a little closer. Marty, Ethiopia. You're going to see this a lot. When you get into the research, America had a lot of names. One of the most ancient names for America is Atlantis. But they also have Western Ethiopia is another name. West India is another name for the Americas. So how the Caribbean people say we're West Indians. Even here on the mainland, we are the West. We could be labeled under West Indians too, because you're gonna find maps where they call everything. Even when I was just showing y'all the Florida, they called that the West Indies as well. All of this was West India, Western Ethiopia, or Atlantis. Another name you might see is the Hesperides. There was a lot of names for this continent. They knew about it anciently. We can go down to Plato, who knew about this. Again, over here, we're going to dig deeper into that. I just want y'all to know that when y'all see Western Ethiopia. So, Oceanus Ethiopicus over America. This is South America right here, but it's over America. They don't have it over here on Africa. You see, that's Africa over there. This is Marty Ethiopias or Western Ethiopia. So, understand that too. So, but y'all see again, we got the dark skinned melanated people, and then you got, looks like a conquistador. Paraguay, again, South America. You got the dark skinned melanated people. Let's get a little closer in on this one. Y'all see that from the little boy? They got the parrots, they got the headdresses. So you see the same headdresses from North America to South America. Everybody wearing the headdresses, and you see the same thing. When they depicted the American Indians, they depicted them as quote unquote dark skin or black. I don't say black a lot all the time because we understand that that is a colonial title. They gave you black to extinguish the Indian title. So black, they took away your indigenous American or your indigenous American tribe or title. You just became black, Negro, color, colonial titles. But that's a slick way for them to take the land and take your heritage and your identity and everything that comes with this landmass. But again, you see the feathers, the crowns. You still see the red, blue, and the gold, even down here. Colorful people, the jewelry, the necklaces. We still wear the chains and the jewelry today. When you get into South America and you start studying the indigenous cultures of South America, even here, you find people wearing gold teeth, the Mayans. And in North America, that whole Gulf of Mexico, all these different cultures, when we talk about the Mississippians, all of Mayans. So you can be saying, really could say Mississippian Mayans, the Mayans of Mexico. Because all this go back to the Mayans. And this all roads leads back to Maya and Atlantis, which is America. But I'm going to prove that to you what I just said, though. Not today, but we're going to talk about that further on further episodes. So this Paraguay, South America, dark-skinned melanated people, copper-colored people. Hispaniola, this the island Christopher Columbus came, and they was calling them Negroids de Terra then. Columbus said what he said. You see what they depicting them as? Dark-skinned melanated people. And who's still there? Dark-skinned melanated people. Yes, they have cut the island in half. Now you got Haiti and Dominican Republic, but a lot of those people in the Dominican Republic, you still have the dark-skinned melanated people, but also you got the mixed race people, mestizos, or mixed race. Then you have the white tea, people who live on the island. But Haiti, you got most people who look like this. And Hispaniola still today. But they're going to tell you the same thing. All these people come from Africa and Haiti. And that's not the truth. And you got Haitians who say that's not true. But you got some Haitians who under an indoctrination and say that is true because they believe what the colonizer has said. Same thing here in the United States. And some people who are going to die who will stand on that hill and unalive themselves. That's all they're doing, unalive their damn self. They don't understand when the information is produced, what it is. But they'll stand on the hill, unalive themselves to say we from Africa, no matter how much information is produced, because they can't conceptualize someone as lying to that magnitude. But when you take it to the understanding about imperialism, when you take it to the understanding about true Earth story, not his story, my story, Earth story. You take it to true Earth story, you talk about colonialism, imperialism, the want and taking the resources of other people and wickedness, then you will get it. The Bible tell you even things about Jerusalem being burnt down, these great cities, all this stuff. To understand what's going on, it's a game. But it was even going down in Hispaniola. This is Caribbean islands right here. Another Florida map. So I believe we seen South Carolina. We seen, which was a thing of Florida. Even they said Virginia of Florida. We got another Florida depicting who? Let's get into it. Let's get to it. Dark skinned, melanated people. Florida of North America. Y'all see it? They bows and arrows. Dark skinned, melanated people. And these are all old ancient maps. And you see the lions. And when people say why they drawing lions, well, at the same time we had lions in America, and we still got lions in America. Some call them mountain lions or whatnot. We had even different kind of lions in America. A lot of animals since colonization, since the 1492, and these people coming over here are extinct. Y'all can do that research on your own. There's a lot of animals that's not here no more. But y'all see that? dark-skinned melanated people, copper-colored people. Remember, the Americans, they are like the Ethiopians. You have that same reference in the Bible. Oh, Israel, aren't you as like the Ethiopians to me? They're like the Ethiopians. Let's keep going some more. Keep that up. Go to the next one. Same thing here. Florida again. Oh, this both. And what I just tell y'all, all this was called West India and the Caribbean. West India and the Caribbean. So even the Southeast, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, we was all West Indians. You see the Caribbean island over here? Let me zoom in so y'all can see it. I don't want to be in the way of this. Actually, we're going to go like this. Let me zoom in so y'all can see it. Y'all see that? Going a little closer. West India and the Caribbean islands. Dark skinned melanated people. These people look royal. You see, he pointing, look at them. They pointing at him. Royal. Let's go up. Now this one is over Florida. You see Louisiana, they got Louisiana right there. But all of it was called what? Again, Florida. The first place they came to conquest is Florida. It was called Florida. And in Florida, the whole provinces, our whole southeast, where we all descend from, we know for a fact was called Florida. And who was already here? You see the same colors? Red, gold, and blue. Who was already here? Dark-skinned, melanated people. It looked like something going on. The conquistador got him hooked or something. Or they got him hooked. But y'all see this? Y'all see it? Let's keep going. But again, you got Florida. You got the ships. Let's see, do we see anything else on here before we move on? Another one of Carolina. Let's get into it. Let me zoom in. Y'all see it out the outer of it. Y'all see the outer of it? Carolina. Let's zoom in some. Down here in the corner, you got the dark-skinned, melanated indigenous people. Let's go. Again, they always swimming in lakes, in the water. And we had another map we showed that they was in the waters. You see the hats that they got on, the headdresses. You see the hair, the water, dark-skinned people, melanated people. You see them. Even up here again, Carolina. Make sure ain't nothing in this corner. Carolina. We got this map. again, let me see. This is a good one. I think I got this one right here. So this is was just sold. This actually one I was gonna show y'all. Uh, is they said this one from 1497. Let me see. Say 1497 it come from. But let's look at this one. It was sold off this website. It was very expensive. I want to say this one of them was $160,000. Somebody bought it though. But let's get why would they buy it? What do we have again before we get into the corner? So we can drill that down. We're knocking out two birds with one stone. Florida. And that's the whole southeast. But remember, on some maps, again, even Virginia was a province of Florida. On this one, you see it. Florida. Now let's go. And you see how France conquered this. So now this is France. Michigan all up here. Ohio, Indiana, they all conquered by France now. West, remember, California island on this map too. You're going to see this on a lot of maps. Got the Caribbean islands over here. Cuba, Jamaica, right by Florida, right by again Mexico. All this is one continent. And we say it again, we know some people may not understood that the Caribbean, we didn't have people because the Caribbean is so melanated and has so many quote unquote dark skinned people, which are the Aboriginal people. They got so many of us down there or just dark skinned people that they think that it's in Africa and it's not in Africa. It's America. They're the islands off of America. You see, there we go. Now let's get into this corner and see what this map represents. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, it's showing a war. Showing warfare right here. This is Brazil. Again, they was doing horrible things just like they was doing up here to us. Their atrocities. They was doing that to them in Brazil. But let's get over here and see what they depicted these people as. Oh, y'all see this again? Dark skinned, melanated, copper colored people. Y'all see this? America. 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 So when they say that we come from Africa, people understand this is a psyop. It was also too an Indian slave trade. They came conquered these as our people throughout the continent lost wars. They were enslaved, sent to other parts. Sometimes just sent to plantations in other parts of their same territory. Sometimes sent to other parts of the Americas. Sometimes sent to Europe, Asia, or Africa. And this documented facts, everybody. Look at Chief though. Look at Chief. Now y'all talking about we talking about royalty. Look at this. The medallions. Look at the headdress. America. America. He beating him. Look like we seen that thing. He must feel like he was a traitor or something. We don't know what's going on. But yep, this is a profound one. And I said they just sold this map, so they still got these maps and stuff around everybody. The information is out here. It's just if you're looking for it. Now this is one of my favorite ones too, right here. Let's get right into it. This is right now is going for $85,000. $85,000. And they say a map of South Carolina and a part of Georgia containing the whole seacoast, All islands, inlets, rivers, creeks, parishes, townships, boroughs, roads, and bridges. This map, 85,000 map, shows the indigenous people too. Let's go. Let's get to it. So you said you see South Carolina. Gonna get the land first. Y'all see South Carolina, it says. South Carolina. Then we're gonna go down. Georgia. Let's go over. Bam! A map of South Carolina and Georgia. A map of South Carolina and a part of Georgia. Y'all see the indigenous people? All praises to the Most High. All praises to the great spirit of the universe. Thank you this day for giving us the opportunity to share this information and show this information. This is profound. Thank you for giving us the spirit of understanding, the spirit of wisdom, the spirit of thought. Look at this. A map of South Carolina and Georgia. I just want y'all to look at it for a minute. We're going to go to the next one. But this is an $85,000 map. 85,000. $85,000. And you see why. Now we have finally made it to the main event. This is our $1,000,000 map of the Americas. This is what I wanted to show you all today, and we got into getting into it. But the more that I got to building the video and one of the information I put in the video, I just wanted to explain a little more than what I usually would explain, because I want people to understand what we got going on here. And I want people to really understand that, yeah, this is heavy. That these people stole our continent, have made a whole lie and psyop that we from Africa, and they are doing it right now in 2026. But since it's heavy, the more of us who pick it up, it's an easier weight. You know what I'm saying? We can carry it. So I want to take my time. That's why I showed you all more information. The video was going to be a little longer. But over here on the foundation, we make these videos. They're going to be a little long because we always want to drill down. So some of the information I showed y'all may see several times throughout my videos, like the quotes and some of the maps and us going over population numbers, because we need to know where our people at, who are our people, and how did we get there. But this is the reason that we came to do this video today. So let's get right to it. A spectacular set of war maps of the continents dedicated to King Charles II of England. Now, let's take a look at this. Let me see for right now. I come back on right now. Let's take a look at it now. And I'm going to give y'all, first of all, let's start over here. This map is $950,000. So it's $50,000 shy of $1,000,000. Say the publication date was between 1677 and 1682. All right, and again, name is spectacular set of war maps of the continent. So is this one is not just of America; it's of the four continents. So I'm gonna show you all of them because we have to ask ourselves, if he's depicting the people of the other continents correctly, why would he sit and make a falsehood or a false statement or depict the people of America falsely? He would depict them right too as well. So we're gonna look at them too before we get into the American map. But this was dedicated to King Charles II of England. And we ain't gonna really read the description right now. I mean, I scroll through it if y'all want to pause and read it. So it's a rare map though. They said this is the only known example of this first state of this set, which was unknown to scholars, that it was offered for a sale at Edinburgh Palace the second in June 2022. Can't go into the makers, but this is on raremaps.com. Let's get to it. So, it say the continents. But before we get into all the continents, let's start with which continent we want to start with first. We're going to start with the other one. We're going to end the video with America. Let's get right into it. Okay, there we go. We can switch between them. All right, so this is Africa, and they got a whole description down here, as you can see. With Africa, I'm actually going to come off the camera so y'all can see the whole map full. Oh, no. I'm going to come off camera so y'all can see it full. There we go. Let me get back right there. Okay, now we got Africa. And the map at the top says, what does it say up here? We know this is Africa. And as you can see is the silhouette of the continent of Africa. And in Africa, let's see the people. They have the indigenous melanated people. Now, this is $1 million map, so y'all got to understand it's going to have some stuff in it. So I'm going to take my time a little bit so we can scroll through it. Anything y'all see in the comments, y'all point them out. Because this may be something I might miss. This is Africa. See the dark-skinned people in Africa? We know it's dark-skinned people. Africa, they stay on their throne right there. So they got the melanated dark-skinned people in Africa on here. Got some people over there as well. Let's go over here. Africa. And they got them depicted as the Africans look today. Let's go some more. All right, y'all see little crocodiles, some animals down there that go white tee. You see in a lot of these things, in a lot of depictions, they always have a white tee slave or a white tee person who look homey in here. So that's telling you something too. Then you see the people with the hats, the merchant class. That's what I take it as. You got some more dark skinned melanated people. I'm sure Lodami, we're gonna have to go research to see what that name means. You see the Africans looking up at the them. There goes some more white tea people over here. But the main thing we say African is showing the melanated dark skinned people of Africa. So again, this $1 million map has a set for all 4 continents. So we just want to zoom in on Africa. This is different cities on the side. So this is the city they say Saba. All right, you got people there. This another one. Alcar, Tunis, Tangier. So this is North Africa. Sali. Ain't really showing no many people on this one on here. Let's go to the other side. Remember this the map. Zoom back out so y'all can see the whole map. On the way over here, let's see what's up here. We see look like a conquistador talking to, I don't know if that's an African king or something. talking to him. Y'all see that? What's going on in the back? Tripoli. Got no people on that one either. Algiers. Morocco. Okay, there go some people there. Morocco. Amara. Hmm. What a coincidence. They got them there in that name. Amara. We got to go see where that city is at. Learn about that. There's certain names on certain things. Y'all got to say America is an indigenous name. Don't let them fool you. They're going to try to say, oh, it came from America Vespucci. That's just them colonizing the name so you don't get home. America is Amaruka, land of the plumed serpent, land of the Nagas, sons of Atlantis. Understand that, facts. But they got some melanated people on this one too. Africa. So this Africa. We want to spend too much time on this because we really get into America. We know this, but as they can see, they got the Africans depicted as you can see the dark skinned melanated people here. They're the main. You see other people in this, but the main people sticking out of this continent of Africa is going to be the melanated people, showing you who the indigenous people of Africa is. Same thing. You see the indigenous people there of Africa. We got it. Let's go to our next one. This is going to be Europe. Now let's zoom in. We're going to start at the bottom like we did last time and go to the top from the sides. This is Europe. I ain't really going to get all up in the middle unless we see something. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of stuff we missing. We might have to get back in here deeper, but let's just start as we said we was going to do. At the bottom, so Europe, same thing. You see the first person coming out, YT, or a European, what they would depict as a European today. This is the redhead. You see him. You see some with. Is that more like blondish right there? That looking a little more blondish to me. You see the conquistadors or the. It look like the. I always say the merchant class. Maybe they're the warrior class. They got swords with them. But you see pretty much what they're called today: Europeans or Albions or YT people. However you want to classify them as. No disrespect to them. No disrespect if you're in the comments, but we just showing you what it is. We say Albion a lot over here because any YT people who may be in the chat or in the comments or people in general just understand YT is another just like black is another caste system. So white and black is just put you in a part of the caste system. It's a mind fuck for YT people too if they understand what it is, or European Albions they understand they fucking them over. But yep, so that's there. Let's go to this other side. You got some more of them right here. And this looks like that's going down into Africa, but still, you got them right there. You see they show America on this side, Africa right here. Now let's go right here, the cities. They say Danzig. Y'all see it? This is Europe. Copenhagen, Europe. Anything significant? Archangel. This is Europe. And I just show you all this because they depicting the Europeans right. We gotta see how they're gonna depict the Americans. Because they're gonna depict the Americans right, right? Why would they wait to get to America and just make up something that wasn't in their minds? Why would the artist take his integrity for that? Not stand on integrity. We stand on integrity with Europe and Africa so far. Why would we stand on integrity when it comes to America? Charles II. They're showing them as white T people, even though if you know about Charles II. Y'all see white T people. They're just showing all white T people in Europe, even though we know it was melanated dark skinned people over there ruling. But we're gonna go with what they showing right now. All right, these some more cities. That's London. Interesting happened there. Seville, Lisbon, Stockholm. Oh, a little creepy. But Stockholm, I see it. Amsterdam, in the boat. Paris. All right, so that, again, that was Europe. You have Europe, and they depicted the Europeans correct. Let's go to the next continent, and our next one will be Asia. You see, they got the Asian elephant. And anybody who, when we did Allegory of the Continents and we broke that book down, they're going to understand each continent has a different headdresses, their different cultural attires, and you'll notice it more. So when we talking about Asia, remember, Asia is not just what they're going to say East Asian. You also have the Central Asians, what they call Turkey, Persia. All that is Asia. You see, they even got the melanated Asians, the dark skinned Central Asians. Look at them. Y'all see that? This is Asia. And that's in a different language, so we can't read that. Asia. Now this over here, nah, this is significant. Y'all see this? Asia. It's telling you a lot going on right here in Asia. Let's zoom out right here. Look at this. They're unaliving people. It's like he chained up. Got his hat. He got bow and arrows too. Something. They've been unalive right there. This is like a woman. Look, cause she her hair. There's somebody else chained up. Chains. Then you got this is like the I want to say the Turkish people. They got gold and everything. Y'all see the gold? But if you know what you know, y'all understand it. Really, everything come from Central Europe, Asia. If y'all understand what's really going on, so you see why he got the gold. Now let's go down. You see these people in the back. Then you got him bowing down, the melanated man in Asia. Remember, this Asia take the Middle East. Asia take Turkey all the way on India. All that is Asia. China. So it's different Asians already, and really Europe and Asia is one continent, Eurasia, but I digress. But there we go, right here. Another melanated people like a royal. That's what I'm saying. Y'all see? They got the scepter. He's bowing down. These are the Turk. These might be the original Turks and Moors and the takeover of them. Y'all see them in the back. You always see these hat people. Got you always see the hat people. But let's get over here to the cities. It's like Durban. There's a lot going on here. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Jerusalem. Is that the real Jerusalem or is that the psyop Jerusalem? I'm telling y'all they switched the maps. We're gonna get deeper in that too. Where the real Holy Land is. We're gonna get deeper into that. The Holy Land was Atlantis, and Atlantis is America or Western Ethiopia. And they had a world fair actually in St. Louis, and they called that the Conquest of Jerusalem. Why would they name their world fair the Conquest of Jerusalem? You seeing these little melanated people up here in the Asian area. So, and what city was that? That was Rome. Oh, comb. All right, let's hurry up. Kangaksum. I never heard of that one, but you see them too here. Asian. So you see the turbans. The turbans again, Central Asia or Asia. All right, let's go right here. Y'all see the symbols. It's important to understand where it's coming from. Asia. Y'all see this? Look who behind them. And this is with Europe. And it's the actual map. I had to get here deeper and look at the animals and stuff. Now let's go over here. Kajusu. I'm just kind of scrolling now, y'all. More people. What city is that? Osco. Gonna go ahead and hop to the America. This is just showing the city and some people. But I'm just showing y'all these maps so y'all can see if they depict the Asians as correctly, which we know Asia was multicultural, is the crossroads of a lot of places, especially Central Asia. They depict them correctly, and even the people who rule today as the rulers on this map. Then we know the main show we finna get to. The main show we finna get to. America. America. Why would they depict America incorrectly on the $1,000,000 map? So let's see. Zoom out so y'all can see a whole America. Y'all see North America. Y'all see South America. And since we started with America, we're gonna start with our part of America and zoom in. Then we're gonna work our way to the bottom and zoom our way around. Again, in America, you see La Florida, what I told y'all about. We kind of talked about this all throughout this video. You also got something you're gonna see on a lot of maps, Tajil. Over here, you see Coosa. Coosa usually be by Alabama, but you got a Coosa over here too, because those two things is Essex. So you got a Coosa, Tajil. Also, you have California as an island. Florida, Powhatan. Remember what Columbus, not Columbus, Pocahontas, her daddy, John Smith, and them. One thing also just significant, Shalaga or Chicago. You're gonna see this on a lot of maps. But again, like I said, you some maps you don't see the Great Lakes for whatever. But y'all see, this is North America. Let's zoom in what they got going on here. You see dark skinned people up here. You see they got the stripes making them dark skin. Alright, but this is just America, California island again, as y'all can see. Do it say Red Sea? Because a lot of times it say the Red Sea on it. But let's get down to it. America. America. Bam. Y'all see it? Copper colored people. Y'all might see way more. I'm gonna take my time on this last one because it's our last thing to show for this particular episode. So I'm gonna take my time on it so y'all can kind of see it. Y'all see the map? It show Brazil. Again, Florida, Virginia up here in North America. That's the map that they hold. Excuse me, just the map inside of the map. Africa over here Tartaria, which you don't see on a lot of maps, you see is over really pretty much all of Eurasia, or Mongolia and Siberia. Message, see Europa, but America over here, and they show you on this one who are the Americans. So let's get a little deeper. America. Let's go up here. See him just like a the king. Every one of the maps you see in the middle, they got the whoever the emperor, or the king, it looks like to be. Let's look here. Take our time going through it. I see he pouring something out. Again, the hat people with the swords. Let's get down here. You see the Indians again. People working in the back. America. See more of them. See more of them. Let's go over here. Keep going. We're going to the other side now, y'all. See what's going on in the map. You got Indians. You see the headdress, so you know it's Indians working in the plantation. Indians, which is make more sense, y'all. Why would you go get a whole bunch of people from Africa when you got indigenous people who you gonna make work the land? You see they got them working in the fields because you see their hairdresses. Then let's get up over here on the other side. Look at those features on that face. The hairdresser, so you know that they're indigenous Americans. See the indigenous American animals right there, they're like a deer. So let me just zoom out so y'all can see this the other corner of the map. It look like, let me see. It's a lot going on right here, so let's kind of just take our time to pause. I'm gonna zoom out a little more so y'all can see it wholly. Take the time to pause and just look at that. All right, we see it. What's going on? Let's zoom in some, y'all. Let's start exploring. See what's going on. So up here, oh, there's a lot going on right here. Did anybody peep that? You got an Indian. He holding up something. This look like a compass maybe or something. Some type of geography. Oh, but oh, look at him. They got him looking at. Oh, they bring. Oh shit! They bringing them the religion. You see, they bring the book of the religion is in front of him, and they're crushing him with this. Is it the navigation compass? Whatever. You see, he being crushed. Dark skinned melanated person. The animal right there is eating on him. You see the y'all see the riches holding it up. Look at them. It's like some kind of lizard man, but it's still a hat. The hat people. Let's go down. More and more American Indies. Y'all see the colors. I always tell y'all red, blue. Look at this. America, y'all. This is America. This is the American map. Remember, they showed y'all the European map. They showed the European map correct. If they showed the African map as correct and the Asians, why would they make up America? Y'all see? But that's very profound on the features. When you're looking at the features, it's showing you who the indigenous people is. And remember, I kept telling y'all them hats. They always go look up the Egyptian pharaohs and the hats. You see this in a lot of maps of the Americas. All right, so let me just zoom out. This that whole right corner, bottom right corner of it. So y'all see there's a lot going on there. Let's see what's going on this side. Another, we seeing his face. Let's go up. What's they got going on? Let's see. This one right here is just blowing my mind right here. Y'all see this? This is a wild right here. But that's who brought the religion, y'all. And remember, the Pope told them to do that, and they could make the people perpetual slaves. All right, we went on this side. I'm just going back to this side. Before we go around, we're gonna look at the cities as we did on the other ones. Let's see, did we go down the other way? Now this is the left hand bottom corner again. Y'all see the king? You can see the features, and it show you that is them too. It's just the color. The artist just made the color with the black lines. Another hat person. You see them all over here. Now let's go over here and see Havana. Let's see, do we see anything? See people in boats. This must be Havana is in Cuba. So y'all can see the whole thing before we scroll up. So y'all can see it all. Let's see. We see something that we move in. This is New Amsterdam, New York. See, they still making them look brownish. And we already seen one with New York again earlier with the indigenous people. You see even back in the background how they depicted them. This is in New York, New Amsterdam, Salvador. Oh, that's the city I was telling you about in Brazil, what they call quote unquote the blackest city in Brazil. But remember, I told you it's the same game in Brazil. They're telling them people they from Africa as well. All right, I can't pronounce what that say, but this is just showing the rivers. Now this is a city again. This is Mexico. Now let's see what this is. Let's go down. That's the city. So this must be Mexico City. Bam. Y'all see it? Bam. Y'all see it? Bam. Y'all see it? Mexico City. Y'all see it? So we same people in this Mexico City. What's the next one? Pagus Hispanorum. So I think I would say Hispanoia was my guess, but let's look. Let me no, let's see the whole picture out first if I zoom in. This is upper left corner. Now let's zoom in. The indigenous people, you see, they're making them as black, dark skinned, melanated. You see, this is purpose. We didn't see this so deep on the other ones. They're showing you who they are. They're working on some stuff over in a part of the town here. See, and you see the different color paint because this is a white tee. He didn't do his face black. You see, they indigenous because you see the crowns and the feathers. All right. Y'all see that? Again, some more maps. They got these little angels. All right, this North America again. Kansas, Florida, any other thing. Just get y'all anybody who let's look up and down. See there. Let's go to the other side. Zoom in on this right here. That's a ship. Ship, ship, ship. Okay, we're gonna get inside here in South America, but we're gonna do this other side first. Remember the cities on the other side. Lima. I don't really see no people on the map, but this is just so y'all can see it. Lima. Domingo. I think that's in the Caribbean islands. Potosi. But when you get in on here, y'all see. And obviously they could have made these people white tea or lighter if they wanted to. Because you can see over here in this corner, in this particular city, dark skinned people or who they made darker, darker than indigenous people. All right. Sarenham. Them look like conquistadors there. You see it. Cartagena, I think to South America. There go dark skinned alien, dark skinned indigenous person. Then you got a colonizer on the boat. Indigenous people. Another indigenous person. There goes some more on the boat on this side. And you see they had you see the white T faces, so they're definitely doing a contrast when they're showing you the black lines on the face. And this is another one. Port Apolco. All right, let's get in this one. You see it? All right, but you see a whole line of dark skin. You see they carrying something right here. You see the hat people again, the conquistadors. And there we go. So this is the $1,000,000 map, people of the Americas. Let's just do another look at it. You see the dark skinned melanated people there. So y'all can see it again, a review of it. This is just wild right here. This is the wild one right there. Conquistadors. See the indigenous people over here. You can look at the features. So even when they got the black limestone, they telling you something. You see the earrings, the hairdresses, the feathers, the hats we seen in many pictures and in many other pictures outside these maps we seen today that they have that headdress. The colors. See them? Him. So this is the last little shot I'm gonna show y'all right here of this side of it. Oh, we got to go back up here before we go to that last side. We're gonna end on. All right, inside South. This is South America they showing. See, they got them scribbled as black. You see the feathers, so you know they're indigenous. But they if they were white or lighter skin or like the people you showed it, the Siberians they showed it there, they wouldn't have to scribble them black. Like right here in this whole scene right here. This in South America. Let me show you. This is over Brazil. Zoom out so y'all can see what we're zooming in on. You see there's a whole mural of different pictures in here. So we're gonna start where we was just at in Brazil and go up. You see, this is like a village. Let's go up more right here. Or it's a war. The conquistador is coming. You see, they didn't make them lines through their faces to make them look white tea. And you see, these is the American Indian tribes. Y'all see it? You see it say America right over it. But let's see the village. See the baby on the back. You see indigenous people. More people working in the fields. All right, so that's what was up in there. Did I miss anything right there? We seen him. That's what we seen. Here go some ships. Anything else we didn't zoom in on? We did it all. We ain't gotta really get on the ships right now. But yep, everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. This was the $1,000,000 maps of the Americas, $950,000. And we just went over the information as well, just understanding this is not the only map, it's other maps depicting us as being indigenous Americans. So I hope y'all liked this video. If y'all did, y'all do me a favor and y'all share this video out so more people can see the information. You also like the video. They say that helps with the algorithm so people can see the video, and this video can be recommended to YouTube. So I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all subscribe to the channel. I'm going to zoom in one last time before I tell y'all goodbye. And I hope y'all have a good day. Until next time.